David Erdos with poem 20 from At the Gates, which is also the 200th poem written during the British lockdowns, which started exactly 1 year ago today. I would ask that anybody interested in this piece would listen to all of it. It is a long poem which tries to encapsulate everything that I've been expressing in all the other pieces, ideas, notions, resonances, reflections, which I hope align with your own interest. There will be an epilogue poem that follows this, an epilogue poem I should say, and other books, but it seems apposite on this day to end this 3-book collection and trilogy with this poem. 1 year on. Birds wake me to sing a mutant song for us. Unusual for them, this stung chorus catches racked power as well as the pitch that's been rising, even as we all fall far from shape. It has been 1 year today in which Zoom and Zoo have reframed us, and thus we have prowled, part bewildered, in some form of slow return to the ape. We need Sir David Attenborough to live long and present or reintroduce our next habits. For as in Bertolt Brecht's In the Jungle of Cities, the citizens survey the fouled streets, which loll like slack mouths having been punched and made toothless as the bite of the economy loosened and the limpest of licks dabbed at meat. So many juices run dry. So many bodies stopped. So much anger. So many lost lions roaring as they struggled to roam ruined plains. Both beast and burden aligned as we also took on the glare of kept leopards. With our motion blocked, amputation still stalled our progress, even if each limb from 4 was retained. Instead, we became those we cooked, or those whom we watched through Sir David, eyeing each detail while forgetting the former shape of ourselves. We lost pride and gained pot, over which we obsessed, spending for it. Instead of pleasure, leisure and culture, the buying of food became hobby as we exchanged stage and sports ground for the universe around, kitchen shelves. How will we feel once released about our homes shaped as prisons? Will those precious walls and shelves lose their meaning as we strain for freedom and strive like our animal kind for the wild? For as has been seen, mankind is unkind to the figures and flesh of the forest. As we hunt and coat them in plastic, their long hold on wisdom has made our grasping at life like a child's who knows nothing and won't without the will to discover what has gone on. As for instance, for what reason has this particular time become war? And an uncivil one, too, come to that. Alongside Trump's tearing of the flag to mop bloodstains. Or the numerous bastards of Brexit, and the bitches too, whose guffaw at the need to belong to a clearly corrupt but nevertheless working system kept us at least bound together, as this warp in the wind forged a split between the world we all want and the one we've created. 2 very different things. Let's be certain. Has the control we'd exert truly slipped? For now, so many people forget who they were and have allowed the ignorant to form answers, in which remedial level instruction was quickly dishonoured by the hell-headed evil of Dominic's goings and comings, alongside the despicable actions of the sow for whom seeds would wither, the disgusting, uncaring, and regardless of feature, unpretty Patel, who has brought shame on both creed and race, with a year of numbed statements. From her fouled fantasy of an immigrant's island to the need to stop protest and crowds attending Sarah Everard's funeral. I do not single her out as I have from a sense of personal vindication, but simply because I cannot believe how such people are allowed to rise and go on. With Trump's fat fruit impeached twice. What point over there to impeachment? Would Nixon today have won through and wriggled, as Bill Clinton blew sex and sax also, in order to re-sing love's last song? Where the devil are we? I'm lost. Are you as well, if you listen? Lost in living rooms, kitchens, lounges, and bedrooms too, as you read about the dearth and the day getting worse, or the marks on your loved one's body. At least what has happened on pillows has put a positive spin within sheets. For we mustn't forget that this lockdown year has brought babies in an almost Catholic-style frenzy, as each sad death was replaced. And yet, domestic abuse burst like blooms and colour-stung bruises on victims, while others chased pastimes that their former working world would not lease. And so the balance is burn, or so it seems to me as I write this. Businesses fold, friendship creases, as misunderstandings like money gain, or in terms of people lose, interest. Some have learnt new languages, or become Olympic across their small gardens. Time is marked and made to discover the secret self. Loss invests. People make time as time stops and can catch their breath as it's challenged. So much so that masks seal them, like the lid on a homemade jar of jam, of which there must be so many by now, so as to feed the sweet-craving, soured mouths of all nations. As we in turn ache for comfort, either through the fuel and food of a lover or the touch lost to many of their too soon departed and still felt and dreamt ghosted hands. The former rat race has been run, so we must learn to walk once more, not as rodents, or as a puppet might, stretched or limpid, and subject, of course, to dark strings, of which we glimpse less than the side of a sleeve, or long shadow. For we do not know who's still playing or moving us about, as fate stings. Perhaps this is just a vacuum of sorts, as the vaccine creates vortex. And just like astronauts in the astral, we now approach the black hole through which we chase Kubrick's key, 20 years on from his title, and my own lifetime from filming, as we try to chart a further path for the soul. Where will we be 1 year on? Stuck inside this constant parade of reprisals? Or already stacked and camped cleanly as a jackboot designs fashions shift? Or will we all work from homes as defined states and nations, from the county of David to the region you're in? This word gift. My little street broadcasts out as we all create our own stations. Today, friends are filming, while others wait overseas. Shafter smiles in her sleep, sweetly fixing on the good that can happen. Roger rehearses a play and builds kitchens while he waits for the business light to go green. The possible mirth and mar mix in the still empty cities, however. Why will employers continue to pay for buildings if their employees can now work from home? Those ransacked offices could well become rotten teeth in a voiceless void of damned districts, which while they once hummed are now silenced, as the offices jar like scraped bone. In the Ballardian scream, the future symphony achieves structure. The jab makes us cyborgs, servants of state, a world brand in which the souls sold with the 1%'s shady dealings see us all steamed as smoke rises in some frightening echo of those chaos chambers that Schickel fucking Gruber once planned. Who knows? Who can say? Poetry asks certain questions, and if the answers exist, they do solely in a tongue and taint few can read. And so we Winston away wordsmiths like him in kept corners, watchful no doubt for O'Brien and for where Julia's Judas kiss may yet lead. George Orwell's 1984 came and stayed. In 2021, there's fake news speak. But in which and whose quarters will the lovers regroup to resist? Perhaps in this year, and across these double-century pieces, I have been looking for love in past places and to try and involve you in this. For my struggle is yours, as yours is mine, the world over. The people's prison is progress in terms of either capture and calm and caste bliss. The Covidian age was not bronze or ice or stone. It was water, passed in piss and tears of sweat, distress, effort, and if you wish to pray, those of joy. This David's COVID's untouched. I have not been ill. I am grateful. And yet I cry and seek the cure of my mother, and even at this age now am a boy searching for home, even while caged within it. I sit staring out through this writing as the only effective means I employ to reach you, or teach in my own small way, the main lesson. But perhaps the best expressions unwritten. Perhaps, if I'm honest, the best lesson of all stays untaught. After 1 year of this, or at least in this country, what have I learned? That life's broken, but that, if we are mindful, we can repair it all with a thought. We just have to have the same one and say it at once, all together. For only then we'll find freedom, and only then open doors. This will not be my last word, I know. But in the scale of fame today, I am limescale. Something to be scraped from scrawl and discovered once the ruins are read, years from now. At a time in which I may become hieroglyphs or cyberprint on tombed laptops, and where a partly heard whisper across our miasmic air is allowed, for it may distort, yet contain a brief wisp of tune or splutter of algorithmed wisdom, in which the pains we have suffered will tell the far future how it can finally heal the now. 1 year on, then one more, one era on, or one eon. Stars glaze our surface as what we were is won and wept across cloud. Should God hear these words, then may that alien throne start to glisten. Across this space and shape, I reach for it. May such grace light our losses. I can only hope in this writing that I have made my dead heroes and my past parents too duly proud. And yet man has handed misery to man, as Larkin's coastal shelf seemed to deepen. So may we all start to swim from it, and may those stars as sea breed new life. This one has certainly been compromised, and yet we can promise from it. Play and read this, please. Then make music. As you start to speak from your silence, the birds may receive us, and the joint chorale we're all part of will learn to sing once more. Let's dream loud. David Erdos, March the 23rd, 2021. Salut.